He explained his decision in the meeting today. Nobody had questioned it. He explained it anyway. And somewhere along that explanation, he noticed the room shift, not towards him, but away. And the worst part is, he has done this before, in different rooms, with different people, with the same result still applying. And he cannot figure out why, because he is not wrong. The decision was sound, the credentials are real, the track record speaks for itself. But none of that is what the room responded to. What I'm about to show you is not about how to present better. It's about the mechanism underneath. Why demonstration makes the one thing being demonstrated harder to feel. Let me describe something and tell me if this sounds familiar. You walk into a room, a meeting, a first conversation, a situation where how you land matters. And before anybody has said anything, something activates. A quiet awareness that you need to establish something, that they need to know what you bring, what you've done, that your opinion is worth something. So you begin, not aggressively, not obviously, but the credentials get mentioned. The justification gets offered before anybody asked for it. And the room, which was open before you started, slightly closes. Not dramatically, but just enough so that you can feel it. And you cannot understand why, because everything you demonstrated was true. Everything you showed them was real. But the thing is, what you cannot see in that moment is that the demonstration itself was the message. And the message it sent had nothing to do with your credentials. And the self-improvement space that was meant to fix this problem was the one that built it in the first place. Demonstrate your value. Let your results speak. Show people what you're capable of. Build your personal brand. And every man who consumed that content, who genuinely applied it, better at demonstrating, better at showing, better at making his value visible, noticed something strange. The more he demonstrated, the more he needed to demonstrate. Because the demonstration never produced the thing it promised. The respect arrived temporarily and then required another demonstration and another. That is not respect. That is an audience that needs to be continuously re-won. And the man that needs to continuously rebuild and re-win his audience has not built credibility. He has built a performance that has no closing at all. And before somebody says, but the results matter, yeah, you have to prove yourself, okay? Yes, the results are real. I'm not going to refute that. But there's a difference between results that speak and a man that speaks for his results. You get it? The one lands. The other explains why it should land. And every explanation of why something should land with people almost never does. Let me ask you something. Think about the last time you're in a room and someone had it, where the room gravitated towards them before they had done anything to prove it in that moment. What were they doing that produced that? It's almost certainly nothing. And that's the point. And trust me, this is not just happening in professional environments. It is the man in his relationship who keeps justifying his actions. Not because she questioned him, but because he needs her to confirm that he was right in justifying his decisions so that way he can feel confident in them. The same pattern. It is the man at work who feels the need to name drop his experience within 5 minutes of a new conversation. Not because it's relevant, but he needs the room to know before it decides. Same pattern. It's the man in the friend group who cannot hold an opinion without listing each and every single reason as to why it's the correct opinion. Because his opinion alone doesn't feel like enough. Again, the same pattern. 3 different rooms, but only one operating system. The demonstration communicated the opposite of what he intended. So, what is the way to combat this? Here's the truth. When you demonstrate your value before someone has even questioned it, what does that actually tell them? It tells them that you were not certain the value would be felt without the demonstration. And look, that uncertainty, that quiet signal that you needed them to know, that is what the room actually responds to. Think about it this way. If I was to walk into a room immediately and tell you that I was the most trustworthy person here, what would happen to your trust? It would drop. Not because I am not trustworthy, but because trustworthy people do not need to announce it. And the announcement itself, it communicates, it tells you that the trust would not arrive without being mentioned first. So you see the difference. Now, to demonstrate it a little further, let me just cut to the Miro board real quick. I just want to show you. All right, brothers. So this is just a brief cut to see exactly what is going on when you feel the need to demonstrate. So I have this flow right here, but it ain't really something to look at. So what we're gonna do is let's take a look over here and look at the loop because it may not be a perfect circle, but it really gets the job done. Okay, so starting with the first one, which is unsolicited demonstration. Simple. That's where you walk into the room, you feel the need to let people know about your credentials, who you are. Then what happens is the room receives the signal. So they get the feeling that you do not understand your value or possess the understanding of why you're demonstrating, right? Next, it goes into signals as I needed you to know this, the neediness, the reassurance. And it not only applies within professional settings, this is also within other relationships in your life. Then, what that needing, as I was alluding to, it signals the uncertainty within yourself. What that's going to lead to is uncertainty about your own value, because that's really what all of this is. When you have that uncertainty, the room, it mirrors you. So when you possess that and you project that, that's what gets put back towards you. It's mirroring the uncertainty. Then what happens is the respect decreases. Boom. The whole room feels that. And they suddenly lack that respect for you. Then it makes you feel like, damn, let me do more. Because it seems like if you're not getting something, you're supposed to do more. So more demonstration required. And what that leads back to is the loop. So filing back out, this is what you really need to be wary about. This operating system is self-defeating by design. Every demonstration you do that does not land requires a larger one. The larger the demonstration, the louder the signal. The louder the signal, the further the respect. Think about two restaurants. The first one, it has a sign that says, best food in the city. The staff mentions it when you sit down. It is on the menu. The waiter references it when he's taking your order. But the second one has a line wrapped around the block every single night of the week. No sign, no claim, just a line. I want you to tell me, which one do you believe? The line does not need to explain itself. Because the moment the line has to explain itself, I'm telling you, that's where the line gets shorter. That is the same psychological system applied to every room a man walks into. The man the room respects before he even speaks. Look, he is not more smarter, he is not more accomplished, he's not more credible on paper. This is what it is. He is simply not explaining the line. His own sense of value does not depend on whether the room was adequately informed about who he is, what he does. It simply speaks for himself. Here's the question I have that might change your perspective on every room you've ever walked into. When you demonstrate your value to people who did not ask, what are you actually communicating? Not your value, your relationship to it. People cannot read your credentials. They cannot access your track records, unless they're a stalker, but they can read within the first 30 seconds whether you are someone who knows their worth without being told. And a man who knows, a man who genuinely knows, not as a performance of knowing, but as an internal, settled fact, does not need to explain the line. He simply stands in it, and the room feels the difference without him having to voice it. Because pressure reveals identity. And what the respect operating system reveals under pressure is that a man whose sense of his own value depends on external confirmation to feel certain. And external certainty, borrowed from the room's response of people who may not even care, is the one part of certainty that will never, ever hold. And here's the one most men in this space will push back the hardest. Most men think establishing your value early is confidence. But the problem is, confidence does not establish itself. It just is. Think about it. The man that needs to establish is communicating that he has not been established. And that communication lands before any credential does. And before somebody says, so I should just say nothing and hope the room figures it out. Come on. Obviously not. Competence is still real. Results still matter. I'm not saying that. But there's a difference between competence expressed and competence explained. They're not the same thing. Expressed competence changes outcomes in the room. Explained competence changes how the explainer needed the room to know. So guys, here is the operating system that I want to return to that I drew earlier. So come with me to the Miro board. So you guys see, this is the respect operating system. I'll underline it. Red on red, all right? So this operating system has 3 layers. Each one is feeding into the next continuously. And most men never see past the first. So what needs to be understood about this full diagram? Now, the operating system is chasing something that it is designed to prevent. So think about it, every time you try harder, it's going to escape you. That's the problem. So let's take understanding of like the first layer of what this operating system is. So starting with the first layer, it's the signal. The first layer is the signal. So usually it comes right around this area. And I'll take that away. So here's how to know if you are sending that signal. When you walk into a new room, is your first instinct to learn about the people in it, or is it to make sure that they know about you? That question is the entire first layer. The signal is not sent through what you say. It is sent through the order in which you need things to happen. Think about it. The man who needs the room to know his value before he can relax in it has sent that signal. That's why you start up here, right? So square it up again. Curiosity of what the room is and the people in it before you deal with that self promotion is the one thing that's going to generate the most credibility within everyone in that new environment, because that behavior is making everyone available towards what you're doing, who you are, and makes them a lot more receptive. Now, the practical work on just layer 1 is the next time you enter a new room, pause, think about this. Make it your only objective to understand the people in it before they understand you. It's simple, right? Not as a tactic, don't treat it as such, but as a genuine presentation, a reorientation of where your attention goes. The signal can only stop when your attention stops being about you first. Now, let's move on to layer 2, which is the loop. That's where everything adds up and it stacks up and it compounds. So, like I said, I'm not Picasso, I'm Okello. Okay? So, the second layer is the loop. And what I want you to understand is that the loop is where most men spend their years in without even realizing. They have no clue, no idea about it. Every demonstration that does not land feels like evidence that the next one needs to be stronger. it needs to be more wise, it needs to have more authority behind it. It is not. It is just evidence that the demonstration is the wrong mechanism entirely. The room is not telling him he is not credible. In fact, it is telling him that the way he's pursuing credibility is what's preventing it. He himself is really telling the room that he's not credible. It's kind of like an inverse loop. It goes deep, right? Here's the practical work. Don't think too hard about it. After any interaction where you felt the need to demonstrate, stop. Do not ask, oh, did it land? Did they feel it? I hope they were okay with that. Oh, right? Ask, why did I need to do it? See, that question, that second question points towards the operating system. The first one is only there to keep you in that loop. Now, let's move on to the third layer. Right? Take this away. So, moving on to layer 3. Now, this is not exactly present, but this is what it is. It's the alternative. And this is where I really need you to listen. All right? Escucha, right? If you know some Espanol, all right? So, the alternative is not saying less. It is not a strategic silence. It is not a tactic. Please do not think of it as such. What it is building enough internal certainty about your own value that the room's response stops being something that you really require, that you can operate off of who you are, your own word. And I'm telling you, when that certainty is built, right, it is not just borrowed, it's not performed. I'm talking genuinely built, not fake it till you make it bullshit. That is where something changes. Because before you even said a word, that's where the change is happening, right? Think about it. The room is not responding to your credentials. It is responding to your relationship with your own value. It's felt. It's real. A man who is settled in that relationship with his own value does not need the room to weigh in before he even knows his worth. Now, understanding this, the internal certainty is not built through positive self talk and affirmations. Now, I'm not saying those aren't correct or those are wrong and you should never do it, but it is built the same way every form of genuine identity is built through repeated evidence that you act only from your own judgment rather than needing the external confirmation from others that your judgment was correct. Because you're going to get pulled this way and up and down, and you're never going to feel safe within your own word. Every decision you make without needing the room to validate it, every time you contribute without first establishing why your contribution is worth hearing, those are the reps. And those reps, they compound, they add up. As minuscule as it might be, it does a lot in the long run. And you have to lead by example, starting here with yourself. The man whose presence commands respect, he is not doing something. He's not really doing anything. He is being something. The public presence is just an expression of what he has already been building behind the scenes that nobody else could see. And that's what the room will always respond to. So understanding the respect operating system and understanding the 3 layers, all right? The signal, the loop, the alternative. The first 2 are operating without you even knowing, but the third one is going to require a sound decision that you make. Now, here's the identity law I want you to understand, and I'll write it right underneath here, okay? All right, think it should be good. Separate this and it's bolded. All right. Every act of demonstrated worthiness communicates one thing, that you are not certain the worth would be felt without it. And uncertainty about your own value is the single thing that most reliably prevents others from feeling certain about it. Okay? Write that down. Not because I told you to, of course, right? But because the next time you feel the urge to explain the line, to feel that you need to demonstrate who you are, you know exactly what the explanation is communicating and to whom. The next step is only one question. I want you to think back to the last time you were in a room where you felt the need to establish your value without anyone even asking? What were you so uncertain about that made the establishment feel so necessary? That answer, not the credentials you listed, not the track record you mentioned, that answer is where the work actually starts. The work is not saying less, it is needing less from the room before you actually speak. And needing less from any room you walk into can only be built just the same way as everything genuine is, through repeated evidence that you can hold your own judgment without the room confirming it. Start with just one decision today that you do not explain after making it, that you hold that one position without listing off multiple reasons. One contribution that is made by you that is not established as to why it's worth hearing. Okay? That is just the first rep. The people who respect you the most in life, think about who they are. I am almost certain on everything I love that they are not the people you worked hardest to impress. Think about it. They are the people who, while in their presence, you are fully yourself without needing anything from them. But that is not a coincidence. That is a mechanism. And look, some men will reach this part of the video and say, well, in my industry, we have to sell ourselves. That's just how it works. That's how I make my money. Okay, sure, you got me. But selling your skills is different from needing the room to validate them. One is professional communication. The other is an internal operating system. And the best salespeople in any room, the one who have their pitch land, are not the ones who needed you to buy before they said anything. They're the ones whose certainty in the product made you feel that your uncertainty was such an odd position that you had to switch. And if you find, even after understanding the signal, even after seeing the loop, even after knowing what the demonstration communicates, that the urge to establish still arrives before you have an opportunity to stop it, then what you're dealing with goes a hell of a lot deeper than a communication pattern. It goes into the operating system underneath this one that decided a long time ago that without being told, the room would never feel the value that you possessed. And that is exactly what the previous video in this series was built to address. Make sure to watch the hidden cost of being the guy who always agrees. The link is below. Because here's the truth about every room you spent years trying to convince. You were demonstrating your value to rooms that were already deciding how they felt about you before you even opened your mouth. And they were deciding based off of one thing only, not your credentials, not your results. Whether you were simply the man that needed the room to know these things. Stop needing the room to know. That is where it all starts.